Croeso I Clwb Hwylio Y Felinheli. Welcome to Port Dinorwic Sailing Club. We're a small local club based in the village of Felinheli. We're nestled right in the middle of the village on the shores of the Menai Strait. And I'm now going to talk you through how we operate in the club this year through the pandemic. So, as a local club, we have about 300 members, of which the vast majority live within 10 miles of the club. We aim at families, individual sailors and all sorts of people, and our aim is to get people out on the water, whether it's for open sailing, racing, individual sailing in people's spare time. We also provide youth training, adult training, race training, and we do club cruises, and we also have all-inclusive social events to keep people involved outside of the sailing hours. It's very important that people are seen to enjoy themselves, and participation and enjoyment are key to our success. We're closely tied with the community, and over 50% of our members, Siarad Cymraeg, speak Welsh, and we not only support ourselves but we also support other local sailing clubs, and we take part in the Menai Strait Regatta, and we help with the Clwb Hwylio Y Festival, and we also run Kirks and other youth training events. So very early on in lockdown, the RYA started running a series of webinars, and from that the management committee set up the COVID task force with myself as the coronavirus officer. And we've basically followed the advice and guidance of the RYA, which has enabled us to open up as fast as we possibly can. That's involved setting up risk assessments, standard operating procedures, and then communicating all these to the membership through PDFs that are sent out to them, published on our website, and also published as signage at the club. As early as we possibly could, we allowed members who live within 5 miles to take part in public sports, and then once it had opened up to allow sailing, we opened up the club to allow sailing, and then once organised activity was allowed, we very quickly got up to 4 sessions a week, so 2 of racing and 2 of open sailing. And we've been able to monitor all this on Doodle, and on average we've had 8.5 members doing something on the water every day since we opened up the club after lockdown. Things that we've done to increase access to the club is to install a winch at the top of our slipway so that we can launch and recover our safety boats socially distanced, and it also means that members with heavier boats like wayfarers and so on are able to launch during club sessions socially distant, and also outside of club hours so that people get more access to the water. Right, so as part of our procedures, all of our safety boat crew have been on training to teach them how to deal with COVID and maintain social distancing, and all the safety boats have been issued with a COVID pack, which includes face masks, gel and resuscitation shields, and they've also been installed with a ladder to allow people to launch, to get onto the boat without the safety driver having to touch them. So, as part of the control measures for dealing with the pandemic, we've cleared the club of all detritus to make it a nice clear area, and we've installed a sanitation station to allow members access to the toilets, because you can't expect people to go sailing for long lengths of time for people who live outside the 5-mile limit. So we've allowed access 1 person at a time to the toilets. Going forward, we're looking at opening up the changing rooms, and we're marking out the floors to create 3 or 4 bays in each changing room so that individual families can change socially distanced. But the showers, I think, are going to stay shut for a long time. The club has got an online presence. We have an email list where we communicate with all our members on a very regular basis, and members can also communicate with each other through the same list. We've got specialist WhatsApp groups where the various training groups and pirates can communicate and organise between themselves. We've got a very active Facebook page where members post what they're doing and what's been happening. And over the time of lockdown, one of our senior members gave us a full rundown of his sailing throughout his life, going back over the last 50 years. So we've been sailing on big boats and small boats. In order to manage the club over COVID, we've had a doodle booking list, and we've had 2 registers, one for attendance so we can just do track and trace, and another one for organised sailing where we can limit the number of people turning up for sessions for racing and open sailing to just 30 members that we're allowed. We also have a website, and we have a COVID web page that is password protected so that we comply with GDPR, and on that we give access to all of these booking lists and to all the guidance notes that have been released by the management committee. So on the financial side, we use Web Collect, and we use that to manage all of our subscriptions. We use it to allow members to book boats for the organised sailing sessions, and we also use it for booking socials like the annual dinner, and for members to be able to book to go on to training, adult training and child training. As members of the club, all members are expected to take their fair share of duties, and that includes being race officer for the experienced sailors, safety boat for the people who've got PB2 and safety boat, duty officer to manage the club's sessions, and this is all done through the online system Duty Man, which allows members to choose when they want to do duties, allows them to swap duties, and again, this is all done online. The club's coming up towards its 75th anniversary, and we're looking forward to going for another 75 years. Thank you very much for listening, and Diolch yn fawr.